Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be my Dimensions End Transcendence Tier 5 Crucible 2. So the right Crucible. These guys, it's pretty simple to defeat these guys because they are going to, they don't need to take a turn in order for the orb count to go up. And whenever the enemies don't force their turns or don't need to take a turn, at that point I feel like the stage does become very, very easy. Here I'm going to use Agrias, Reigns, and Bartz. Now, in order to have the orb count tick up, you need to do one of two things. It'll tick up by 1 if they take elemental weakness damage, and then it's going to count up by 2 if the count target takes wind weakness damage. Now, the only issue with this is that these guys resist elemental resist down. So the only character in the entire game that can, I guess, imperil them without inflicting a debuff, because almost literally all imperils come in the form of a debuff. But because they resist elemental resist down, you're not going to be able to stick any debuff like that and imperil them. So the only person that can imperil is going to be Bartz. Now, Bartz imperils without having a debuff. Just one of his overhead buff is what allows him to force the enemies to take wind or imperil for wind. So the next issue you have is that since Bartz does hit, I believe, for wind damage, your other two characters are not, and because you're only making the orb count go up by 2, which by the way starts at 79%, so you don't have to really worry about anything up until 79%. You need to find a way to continuously do wind damage, and you can do that multiple ways. You can bring a whole party of wind elemental damage, and characters that have this is like Van, Shantotto, you have Setzer, you have Fujin, Bartz, and so you can do that, right? So every time you hit, the orbit count is literally staying the same because it's not even going up. Or what you can do is bring Fujin calls, and both of Fujin's calls will enchant the whole party for wind. And since Bartz forces the wind and peril from his buff, not a debuff, then you're good to go. And at that point, I think you can bring in a lot of different characters. But the thing is that you obviously want to bring in characters that obviously are going to help you for Reckoning, right? Which is the main or the hardest tier 5 stage that there is. And so that's why I brought in Sid Reigns, because I do plan on using Sid Reigns and Agrias for Reckoning, which is the third stage here on Dimensions End. So if you can notice here, the orb now appears, and that's when I'm going to start to use Fujin's Call. So now everybody is enchanted with wind, and every time that you do any type of attack, you're going to make the orb go up. Now here, I probably should have not used Fujin. I decided to burst just because the orb count is at 65, and so I said, what the heck, might as well. But I could have saved Fujin's Call just for the sense of when you are in Pandemonium's, I guess when you use the summon, it already enchants the party for wind damage. So that's something I could have saved Fujin's Call there. It's not like it really matters. These guys are not hard at all, so I don't think it really mattered. Aside from that, you again don't let them take too many turns or any turns at all, because if they do, they can enter a mode called Armor Knight's Retreat, and I believe that it gives them great power and great defense, and it makes them, I think, unkillable. So then you just have to restart. So you can bring in Delayers. You could here Agrias is just amazing because they don't resist confusion or paralyze, anything like that. So she is, I think she's key here. From here on out, with all the upcoming Lufenia Plus stages, I think Agrias is going to be a star or a key role and a star character for a lot of the upcoming stages. She's just, her kit is really, really good because she really just kind of locks the enemies out. Her Faded Molly, a debuff which confuses, also increases I think HP and brave damage that they take, things like that. So she's helping all the way around. Plus she's providing really good auras to the party, and those auras I believe are going to be in the form of attack up to your party of about 80%, max brave up 90%, brave damage dealt, brave gains up, which any kind of brave gain, brave damage because of Lufenia Plus is going to help. She doesn't do too much, but at least it's something. She also does brave regeneration on top of increasing also brave gains, and then HP regeneration as well. So she's an extremely good character to have, and if you can see, I mean, I'm just melting these guys. These guys' HP is just, these stages are extremely easy. You can literally bring almost anyone to defeat these guys at this point when you have huge damage dealers like Sid Reigns and Ace and stuff like that. These Crucible 1 and 2 are literally a joke, to be honest with you, at this point. If you're a new player to the game, I mean, depending on who you pull for and how new you actually are, obviously anything is going to be difficult. But I think that even here having just the Fujin calls alone will help you. And I think maybe even Garland might work here because, again, you can do even probably Strago, I would think, because any type of AoE attack, and then you're going to have Fujin's call on that character that does the AoE attack. It's going to kind of keep the orb where it is, and you can always either burst or then go into summon, and when you burst or summon, it freezes the orb. So if the orb is counting down, you could also remember that going into, let's say, your Pandemonium summon, it's going to start making the orb count up by 1. So you just got to make sure that when you're in the summon phase, you are doing AoE attacks, and you're going to be able to make the orb count go up by 1. And then you're going to also, if you have somebody with the burst, you can then do a Fujin call, go into burst, and you should be able to uptick the orb count at that point as well. So I think that it's definitely doable, just because this is not a Lufenia Plus stage. So if I did say Lufenia Plus in the beginning, that was my bad. But this is just, I guess, regular. I think Lufenia almost feels actually weaker than that. Very, very simple. Now, my Crucible 1, I ended up, I did record it, but again, sometimes I don't know what's going on with my phone here. But that recording got all corrupted, and so if you guys need me to, I could always redo that stage. And if you guys want to see that, post it in the comment section. But I believe there I ended up using Ace, I think it was Celis and Rude. That's who I ended up using for Crucible 1. So again, it's not a big deal. Crucible 1, same thing as kind of like these guys. It's fairly simple, just because they're not Lufenia pluses, and at this point in time, just Sid Reigns alone, I think could have managed this entire level probably with Bartz. It's just, that's how easy right now these stages are because of how powerful the characters that are coming out are as well. So again, you just make sure they do not take any turns. If you don't have Bartz, then make sure you're bringing in Van, or you're bringing in Cypher, or you're bringing in Shantoto. Make sure you bring some type of wind damage, so that way you could uptick the orb. Van and Shantoto, I think, are going to be better just because they do have bursts, and you could use their burst phase to uptick the orb count. Making sure you have, you use your Pandemonium summon as well, and I think you should be all right. These guys are not tough at all. It's not Lufenia Plus, and yeah, good luck on the stage. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for new content. Also, let me know in the comment section what you think about this mission and who you used to complete it. Check the links in the description for Opera Omnia websites that give you a bunch of helpful information, and I'll see you on the next one.